The ground shook beneath the thunder of thousands of horses. Across the endless open plains, the Mongol army advanced with terrifying speed. Riders moved like a living storm across the horizon, carrying bows, spears, and banners that stretched for miles. Entire kingdoms had already fallen before them. Cities burned behind their advance, while terrified armies collapsed under the unstoppable momentum of the greatest cavalry force the world had ever seen. But this time, something impossible was waiting in the sky above them. At first, the Mongol warriors wouldn't even understand what they were looking at. A distant roar echoed across the plains, unlike anything heard in the 13th century. Horses panicked. Soldiers looked upward in confusion as a dark shape ripped across the clouds at unbelievable speed. Before anyone could react, the sound barrier shattered overhead with a deafening sonic boom that rolled across the battlefield like thunder from the heavens. The arrival of an F-22 Raptor would instantly become one of the most terrifying sights in human history, because the Mongol Empire had conquered nations using speed, fear, and mobility. But against modern air power, those advantages could disappear in seconds. The F-22 wasn't designed for medieval warfare. It was built to dominate advanced modern militaries equipped with missiles, radar, and fighter jets. Stealth technology makes it nearly invisible to enemy detection systems. It can fly faster than the speed of sound without afterburners. Its sensors can track threats from enormous distances. Against medieval forces with no understanding of flight itself, the aircraft would appear almost supernatural, and the psychological impact alone would be devastating. Imagine thousands of mounted warriors watching explosions suddenly erupt across the battlefield without warning. No visible enemy, no siege weapons, no archers, just fire and destruction raining down from an invisible force screaming through the sky faster than anything they could comprehend. Panic would spread instantly. Horses terrified by the jet's roar could stampede through Mongol formations before the battle even truly began. Commanders trying to organize troops would struggle against total confusion. Some warriors might believe they were witnessing divine punishment or spirits descending from the heavens. But the real destruction would come moments later. If armed with modern weapons, the F-22 could eliminate massive concentrations of troops with terrifying efficiency. Precision-guided munitions could destroy command positions instantly. Strafing runs at extreme speed would tear through formations before soldiers even understood what attacked them. And unlike traditional armies of the time, the aircraft could strike from miles away without ever entering range of arrows or siege engines. The Mongols were masters of mobility and battlefield tactics. They used speed, deception, and coordination to overwhelm enemies across Asia and Europe. Their horse archers could outmaneuver nearly every army they faced, but none of those tactics prepared them for an enemy attacking from the stratosphere. And there's another major factor most people don't consider: information. The Mongol Empire relied heavily on communication between riders, scouts, and commanders spread across huge distances. An F-22 equipped with modern reconnaissance systems could monitor troop movements from high above while remaining completely untouchable. Entire invasions could potentially be disrupted by targeting leadership and supply routes alone. But despite all that power, there's one huge problem. An F-22 cannot fight forever. Modern fighter jets depend on fuel, maintenance crews, advanced runways, replacement parts, and sophisticated logistics networks. In the medieval world, none of that exists. Once fuel runs low or systems begin failing, the aircraft becomes stranded in a time period completely incapable of supporting it. And that changes everything. Because while the Mongol Empire couldn't destroy the aircraft in direct combat, time itself might become the real enemy. Even the most advanced fighter jet on Earth eventually requires maintenance impossible to perform in the 1200s. A single mechanical issue could ground the aircraft permanently. Then comes the question everyone asks: could the Mongols adapt? History shows they were incredibly intelligent military innovators. They rapidly learned siege warfare, incorporated foreign technologies, and adapted tactics faster than most civilizations they encountered. While they could never replicate modern aviation, they might eventually develop strategies to minimize the aircraft's impact. Troops could disperse into smaller groups to avoid mass casualties. Armies might move at night or hide within forests and mountains. Scouts would constantly search the skies for warning signs. The Mongols survived by adapting, and they would try to adapt again. Still, even limited operations by an F-22 could completely alter history. Major Mongol victories that reshaped continents might never happen. Entire invasions could collapse under fear and confusion. Empires that once fell to Mongol conquest might survive simply because one impossible machine appeared in the sky. And imagine the legends that would spread afterward. Stories of a metal dragon flying faster than thunder. Warriors destroyed by fire from the heavens. An invisible spirit that could strike armies without warning before vanishing into the clouds. Across medieval Asia and Europe, myths about the sky demon would likely survive for centuries. But perhaps the most fascinating part of this scenario isn't the destruction. It's what it reveals about technology itself. The F-22 represents hundreds of years of scientific progress. Physics, engineering, computers, aerospace design, satellites, and modern materials. Science. Dropping it into the medieval world would be like introducing alien technology into human history centuries before civilization was ready to understand it. To the Mongol Empire, the aircraft wouldn't just be a weapon. It would look like magic. And for one terrifying moment on the open plains, the greatest cavalry empire in history would come face to face with the future of warfare itself.